What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Comeback Podcast with your host, Mark Jennison, founder and creator of the Comeback Movement. The man is going to change your life. This show is about taking back the power, creating the choice, finding and defining the man that you want to be, and ultimately having it all. Sit back, enjoy the show. Let's roll.
I am a comeback. If you're not dead, then you're not done. I ain't dead, so I'm here to show everyone. I am a comeback. It's not a disease, it's a choice. So I had to choose, I refuse to lose. I am a comeback. I want everyone here to be able to look themselves in the mirror and say, I am a comeback. We don't care how it gets done, as long as it gets done. And everyone is a comeback.
Today's topic is turning your struggle into your greatest strength. So today we're gonna do a little Q&A. We've got about 6 of them. I'm gonna save the best one for last. I'm looking forward to talking about that because it's probably one of my greatest struggles, aside from drinking, drugs, lying, being a piece of shit, is the one I'm gonna speak about. So I'll save it till the end for that. But question number 1, how would you define struggle? So let's think about that. It doesn't matter who you are, man, woman, child. We're born into struggle. We come through a vagina. That's a tight opening. It's got to be spread open. Your head is bigger than the opening. You come out, you're crying, you got light in there, you got a doctor spanking you, at least back in our day. I don't know if it works anymore like that. I haven't had a kid in 10 years. But they're literally, you're crying, and there's, in my son's case, his lungs he wasn't breathing, right? I didn't get to hold him until he was 9 days old because he got rushed away. But exactly right there, my point is, it was struggle. We're born into it, all of us. So when I look at, defining what a struggle is something that, for me, every day, I go searching for it. Every day I go looking for what's going to make my day hard. As a matter of fact, last night when I was writing inside of my I'm a Comeback journal right here, I was writing down the things that I did great, where did I struggle, what could I do better. I mean, the greatest struggle that I have right now, it's not the greatest struggle, but one of the struggles I have right this second is this phone. Literally driving down the road because it goes so crazy, taking my eyes off and distracted driving. That's a struggle, right? Because I don't want to hurt anybody, so I have to throw this thing away. Where I'm going with this is struggle is everything that is outside of your comfort zone. Anything that makes you not feel good every day, right? So we all have this. We have this routine or this way of life that we want to. You want to go to work. You only want to put in so much effort, right? You want to go to the gym. Maybe you only want to do it just enough to get by. It's about living this status quo and kind of drifting into this life where everything is just steady because we think inside of our minds that peace and serenity and happiness and all these things, they just exist if everything's balanced. We've got some far-fetched opinion. In my opinion, everyone's got this far-fetched opinion of what a perfect life looks like. Perfect life to me is one with struggle. Struggle to be a better husband, right? I need to find that problem. I need to fix it. A struggle to be a better father. The other day with my son, he wasn't giving it his all. I had to sit down. He was, not giving me everything that he had on the basketball court. Not that I'm great at basketball, but if I'm going to apply myself and I'm going to go out of my comfort zone to struggle with my schedule, my calendar to get him where he needs to be, well, I expect effort from him. So it's a struggle about being a better parent. It's a struggle about taking the business that when things are bad, any asshole can do something when it's good, right? But it takes skill, it takes strength to actually look at the struggle and to turn it into something. Another thing, since I'm into, basically I talk to men and now women who struggle with drinking, right? That's a self-induced struggle. All things that you can look for. So struggle, back to what I define it, is something outside of your comfort zone that makes you want to grow, but you're looking at it, but you're afraid of it. So you don't face it, or if you do face it, it gets a little tough. You try to fix it. The next thing you know, you find yourself right back where you started because you're afraid to fix it. So now define what your strength is and how you turn it into something. The strength is having the ability to actually look at that thing and say, you know what? This obstacle, this challenge is the way that I want to go. I mean, in the gym, I don't know if you work out. Hopefully you do. Maybe you don't. And, I used to be avid weightlifter. I was just shredded. I loved it. But now in my life, the struggle is a little bit different because I'm getting older, right? So the lifting has changed, but there's new struggles that I'm facing right now. But it's creating a new strength. I had to go back. I'm learning how to do kettlebells. I'm adding cardio stuff that I do, more athletic style drills, trying to change my life so I can live a long life. So the strength is coming from looking at that struggle and going to get it. So what is strength? How do I define it? Strength is where I gain my peace. Strength is where I gain my achievement. Strength is where I gain, at the end of the day, the wins and victories are setting me up for success in every pocket of my life. It's not about how strong you are, not about how much weight you can lift, not about how much pressure that you can take. Strength is about knowing that you're resilient and you're ready to attack them on a day in and day out basis, looking for the struggle because that will become your greatest strength. Question number 3. Is it possible to live life without struggle? I think I just kind of summed that up in the last one, right? For me, so maybe, this is just me. My opinion is my opinion. It doesn't mean that it's right, wrong, or indifferent. This just means this is my life. I enjoy struggle. I also enjoy being strong. So I look for this stuff. Now, if I were having this conversation with a Buddhist monk, I would imagine they probably I don't know how they live their life, but I think they're after this life without struggle, right? They spend all their time. But even think about what they're doing. Going away to be so quiet for a long time, that's got to be a struggle just to control your mind. So if you ask me personally, looking at this thing, I don't think there's a way to get through life without having to struggle. Everybody has a different issue. From the guy holding this camera back here, to the guy downstairs, to Dan standing out there, to me, life is going to throw you lemons, right? Life is going to throw you obstacles. Life is going to throw you challenges, because that's just what life is. Question number 4. Is there a smart way to manage life struggles? To me, the smartest way that I can handle them, that I can manage them, is to blast right through them. That's it. I mean, I can tell you when I was building this business and doing the things that I've done to get to this point, there was times I would work so hard. We go back almost 5 years ago, about 4.5 years ago, when I started. I was selling another info product at that time, because this is where the journey took me. But I was selling it, and I was on the phone, and I was quitting my job. I quit the car business job that I was in, and I was trying to get my stuff to sell, and I couldn't get people to buy me for $47. And I would go, and then I would make a little bit of money. We put it back into marketing. The marketing wouldn't work, and I would look at this struggle, it just didn't ever work. It was this constant, insane loop that I would just get stuck into that hurt so freaking much it would bring me to tears at times. Not crying tears, but my head hurt so bad that only thing could happen was my body want to release tears. So is there a smart way to manage the struggles? I would look for those. I would look for those opportunities, and I knew that I was on the right track. I can tell you the smart way to not manage those life struggles is to run from them. Period. Relationships not working? Fix it. You feel fat, you feel out of shape, you feel overweight? Fix it. You're a drunk slob hitting on bartenders and not being home for your present for your kids? Fix it. Your business is falling apart? Fix it. Don't run. The smartest way to handle something is to go straight through it. Question number 5. Can you get strong without struggle? I would say yes and no. Okay? It would depend which struggle it is, right? So if it's in anything that I've done, any growth that of anyone that I know that's been successful inside of their life, it comes from struggling day in and out, just because that's what life is. But if you think about, can you get strong without struggle? Absolutely. I think you can make your mind strong without struggle, right? Sitting down, creating discipline. Sure, there might be some minor struggle in there, but not the one that I'm talking about, not the one that hurts. But sitting down and actually being able to take the ability to slow down, to go faster, to sharpen your sword, to put yourself around other people, right? It's not, that's a different type of struggle, but I think it's a more peaceful struggle, if that makes sense. To me, it makes sense. It might not make sense to you, but can you get strong? I think without struggle, it was a yes and a no for me. And now we'll get on to question number 6. What are some stories of struggle? We're gonna focus on one story today. What are some stories of struggle that directly created some of the strength you have today? I've got a lot of strength in a lot of areas of my life, right? I'm a great dad. This business. I'm a great leader inside of the comeback. I'm great inside of the gym right now. My life, I'm not trying to talk myself up, but at the end of the day, my life is pretty good. But the greatest struggle that I ever had was the ability to be a good boyfriend and now a husband. Okay, so you can, even the alcohol was something that cascaded into that pain, right? Years and years and years ago. Every relationship, sure, was my choice. I chose the wrong relationships to be in, right, in the first place. That was just an issue for me. I swam with shit. I got shitty, and that's just the truth about it, right? It doesn't mean that I was perfect. I had my hand in it. I was doing a lot of just not right things, was not being the man that I needed to be, but they weren't the right relationships anyways. But what it was the self-induced karmic loop of insanity, like drinking and lying and drugs and just everything that comes in that disgusting lifestyle that made me who I am today. Once I met my wife now, so we relatively, we had this conversation the other day. We only met it together relatively like a short time, but I was coming off of a disastrous relationship before I met her. Like it was toxic. It was, it was just gross, and by both parts. But it was just gross, and I didn't want to be into any relationship. I didn't want anything to do with it. I just wanted to go work on my business. I wanted to work on the comeback. I wanted to work on myself, and then here comes this woman inside of my life, and there was a feeling that she made me feel that I never had. That just never happened to me, right? And it was different. Something about her was different. So anyways, when I felt that, it scared me. Because number one, I didn't think I deserved love. I didn't think I deserved happiness. It just wasn't for me. So what I did was we went in, I let her get close. I'm like, get out of here, right? I literally I pushed her away. And she'll even tell you, right? Like, I told her that I just can't talk, or I don't remember how the conversation went. I'm sure if I think deeper, I could figure it out. But pushed her away after about a week or two of talking. And then we didn't talk for like 7 to 10 days. And then she texted me one day. She said, "You're really not going to talk to me?" And I said, "Well, yeah, kind of a man of my word." But then at that point, I immediately called her and talked to her and said, "Hey, let's meet up and let's talk." Because I knew there was something different about her. But what I'm talking about is the greatest struggle that I had, because in every relationship before this that I was ever in was a fucking mess. Because obviously it takes two to tango, but I know what I've done in every side of it. It's not so much you have to do horrible things, but not being attentive, not being loving, not being caring, not wanting to be around, not wanting to be present, just kind of taking things for granted. Because in my opinion, I was in the wrong relationships. But when I realized this and I saw her and she gave me this different feeling that I have, I decided at that point to make some commitments to myself and to her. So I can tell you about some of the greatest strengths I have inside of that. Literally, we had this conversation laying in bed last night, her and I. If you're a woman and you come onto my Facebook page and you're showing, or my Instagram, and you're showing any little bit of skin or cleavage or anything like that, I immediately just unfriend you. Like, I don't care if I even know you. You don't even have to be doing it bad. I just don't want to see that, because number one, I don't want any of that shit inside of my life. That's only one area. When I look at the commitments of making sure that every day I stand up and I'm proactive inside of her life, making sure that I'm supportive, making sure that I'm helping her, telling her that I love her. One of the vows that I put inside of my wedding, when we got married here this year, like Meg said, relatively quick, right? We went from literally just knowing each other to now my business is up, my life is up because I met this woman. But one of my vows to her was I'm going to grab her ass every single day. It's literally in my wedding vows. And I make sure I do it every single day. My point is this. When I realized that I met her, I had a different feeling, and I looked at choices. We talked about that on last week's episode, but I looked at the choices that I had made thus far in my life. Choice to pick up a drink, choice to lie, choice to be a cheater, choice to be whatever it is that you want to be. Right? You can call me everything out there. Narcissist, all these. I've been called it all. My point is this. I chose everything I did, every action to that point. And when I realized I had a blank slate in this thing, I knew who I didn't want to be. So I looked at all that struggle, all that pain, all that self-induced, all that arguing, all that lying, all that shit. And I said, now, moving this way forward, fuck everybody else behind me. I don't care about them. It didn't work. They're negative in my life. I'm going to focus on this woman, and I'm going to give her the best version of myself possible. So my commitments are, I will never cheat. I've never told her a lie. I tell her I love her probably too many times a day. I don't think you can really do it, but I tell her I love her a lot. I pretty much send her a video of me every single day, just telling her I love her. There's all these little micro commitments that I do to really truly build what I have at home, which is the strongest relationship. It's only going to get stronger. I look at where we're at right now and say, man, if we've been able to accomplish this in this tiny little time, what does the next 60 years of my life look like? By 60? Because when I get 100 years old, I need to be alive and I still need to do pull-ups. So I know I need to at least live another 60 years, which is a long-ass time, right? My point is this. Something that I was horrible at. All these things that people have people seen or said or whatever, like, I was not a good man. I was not a good boyfriend. I was not a good husband. I was not good at any of that shit. If there's one area of my life that I'm killing it right now, it's in my relationship. Why? I knew in that particular piece of my life who I am, what I wanted, and why I want it. So that's it for today's episode of the Comeback Podcast. What I'd like to do is actually give you a couple quick little mentions on things. One of the things I'm super excited about right now is actually building the Comeback Women's. So for the first time, so maybe you're a husband whose wife's been drinking, you've been listening. I know I've got a lot of messages for that. Or maybe you are a wife of a comeback and you want to get something to, you want to understand you got a little bit of a drinking problem. For the first time, we're opening it up to women. So next Wednesday, I think today's Thursday, next Wednesday, the 26th, we're going to launch my first ever live event for women. So if you're a wife, if you're a husband who has an issue, or you have a friend that's there, have them come and take a look at this. We've got the podcast on YouTube. We've got audio versions on iTunes and Spotify. Those are some of the coolest things that I enjoy doing right now at this time. So I just want to make some quick mentions on that. Other than that, it's time for you guys to make the greatest gift, the greatest power that you have, and choose to go win and dominate today. That's it for today's episode. See you guys.